Welcome to Business Connection. I'm Liz Spencer. We have a very interesting guest in studio today. It's Joe Goslin from G&O Mediation. Now, Joe, I don't think I've ever met a mediator before. Tell me a little bit about what you do.
So people in conflict come to me and look for help in resolving any manner of disputes.
And how do they find you? Now, can I generally call, or is it court appointed, or do lawyers hire you? How's it all work?
Usually it's a referral, or they find me jointly, via my website or Google or anything of that nature. But typically the parties need to find me together.
And when we're mediating, you're typically the guy in the middle, because we've gotten ourselves in a mess, and we're on one side and the other person's on the other side, and you're that person right in the middle.
Right.
That's a tough job.
Sure. And my role is to be a neutral third party and kind of help facilitate a conversation between, at least two different people who are having, a dispute over something. And so my role is to be that kind of guide through the conversation and help them kind of get away from positions and start focusing on what they really need to resolve whatever issue they're dealing with.
When do you come in? Are you always coming in when it's just so far down the line that you've got to really try to save it?
Sometimes, but it could be kind of anywhere along the process. Sometimes people find a mediator early on in the process, but other times maybe they've been kind of dealing with a more traditional legal process for a period of time, 6 months, and feel like they're kind of stuck or at an impasse and want to try something different. So really mediation kind of fits anywhere along the, continuum.
Right, because you're involved when there's some type of dispute or conflict. So tell me, typically, what are you mediating? Are you mediating in an employment situation? Are you mediating, properties? What, or just a gambit?
Yes.
Yes, and yes.
I've got a background in employment stuff, labor management stuff, but the techniques I use can kind of be broadly applied from anything from contractor disputes to consumer to legal issues to workplace issues. I can facilitate boardroom discussions, people maybe trying to hash out new bylaws. I can sit down with large groups and work with them as well.
Now you have an interesting background that you are working with the Conflict Resolution Center. So you've got a really nicely accredited background that way. Tell me a little bit about it.
So I've been mediating for them for about 7 years. I was trained in 2005 with them, and they asked me to begin mediating for them in the Cook County court system. So I've been doing that both at pro se small claims court to larger issues from juvenile offender to chancery court cases to attorney-client fee disputes, a little bit of everything. And then since then I've become a trainer for them and work with them, training law students, HR managers, social workers, clergy who come in for mediation training.
Right, because mediation is really conflict resolution. That's another way of looking at it.
Sure. It's one element, of kind of the broader, alternative dispute resolution kind of field.
That's awesome. And tell me a little bit, when people have been involved with this for years, why will mediation make a difference? Why go that route?
In lieu of a more traditional legal remedy?
Yeah.
It affords them an opportunity to sit across from the person maybe where they haven't done much of that in the past, because oftentimes these negotiations and settlements, you're not sitting in the same room.
Right.
It gives you it gives you as one of the parties an opportunity to really be heard, and to know that the person you're dealing with is hearing you, and then explore possibilities that maybe aren't constrained by what might happen in court.
So you're sort of that guy in the middle, in the hot seat. That's a big job, Joe. How do you handle all that pressure?
Well, to some extent, it's liberating because you're there not to tell the parties, here's what you need to do to resolve that, because you can't possibly know enough about their background or history to really say. You're there to help them make sure that they understand what the other party needs and what they need, and then help them work through all the possible potential resolutions to that and see if there's one that really fits and works for both.
When it does get to a stopping block, and often it does because there's just so much emotion involved, where mediation and someone like you and your firm are a good route to take.
I mean, there's a place for emotion in these disputes, and in a lot of circumstances outside of mediation, it's really not allowed or it's not appropriate. But mediation does afford the parties an opportunity to kind of vent to a certain extent and kind of get past some of that, so then they can start to focus on the issues and really start looking, constructively at how they might remedy what, their issues.
Who can suggest mediation? Is it something that the person involved can do? Is it a lawyer? Is it a judge that orders it? How do we get to you, I guess?
It can come from a lot of different ways.
Okay.
Parties can, suggest, to whoever if you're having a problem, your neighbor's tree is falling on your fence and you guys can't resolve it, that can be, one of you could suggest, maybe we try mediation. To attorneys can refer their clients to mediators. Judges often do. There's a lot of in-court kind of programs for that. So it can kind of come from any number of circumstances. Anyone who kind of encounters people in conflict can find, mediators for them.
And how do your clients find you? Is it through referrals or?
Yes, and they have to find me together.
Okay.
So it's two people who are having trouble agreeing on something, but they need to find me, via, my expertise, my geographical location. Their attorney has worked with me before and suggests that, I might be a good person for a given topic. So it can be kind of any number of ways like that.
Well, Joe, I appreciate you stopping by and explaining a little bit what's going on. It seems like a very important role you're playing, and I thank you for playing it. Just sitting across from you, I think I can tell why you do so well at it. You're just a very calm and level-headed guy. So thanks for sharing with us. We're going to be right back with more Business Connection. Stay tuned.